tree, we open new doors. Tips and tales shared, we laugh and we learn.
Good morning and welcome back to the channel Grand Colombia, and welcome to another Coffee Time Live here in Armenia, Colombia. And we'll talk a little bit about Armenia today, but we're going to talk about a whole bunch of places. B. Nick, good morning. How are you doing? Isabel, is that Isabel? Eabel? LaBelle? LaBelle. I think that's a little L. Anyway, good morning. James Bond, good guess. And Donnie. Well, I think that was last night, but how are you doing, Donnie? Olga, how are you? Good morning. Okay, so let me where? Let's get out of here. Colombian peso, 38.03, went up about 100. 50 at 50. Good morning. Gonna tune into the replay. Gotta go. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for saying hello. Definitely appreciate it. I wish I could get more people in the chat just to say you're there, maybe where you're from, but definitely appreciate it. Right now it's about 73 degrees. It claims it's going to be a high of 75 and a low of 64. That high is 75. If you're out in the direct sun at 2 o'clock this afternoon, it's going to burn the skin off your body. So I have to be careful about the ambient temperature may be 75, but when you're in that direct sun, this is a time of year that's very deceiving. When it's a very pleasant temperature. And if you're out walking around, you in Armenia especially, you got shade trees everywhere. You got buildings that are shading. You're walking up and down the sidewalk. It's fantastic. But if you hit a spot where there's no shade and you're in that direct sun and you're around that 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon time, it's real quick going to get uncomfortable. It's just what happens when you live on the equator. Okay, so what's the temperatures? Low is 64. And that's off my cell phone. Chance of precipitation. This is a joke. This is what you can't believe a lot of the information, because I don't know how they get it. It says 89% chance of rain, 94% this afternoon, this evening 41%. It hasn't been raining this morning. And you look at the little thing on your cell phone, it's got little raindrops all over. It's like, anyway, I'm just saying, you can't trust your cell phone to give you actual information. It took me quite a while before I found a way to get reasonably accurate temperature information. Okay, where are we at? Got my line up here. Well, got a lot of pictures to go through. So today we're going to talk about, I got to do some news items. There's something I have to do, and then I got to do a couple news headlines. I think there's only 3 today. And then we're going to get to the main topic, which is good. It says best cities in Colombia, or the 10 best cities. I don't know. That's really subjective. I don't know if they're the 10 best, maybe the most popular. I've been to most of them. I'll point out the couple that I haven't been, just for full disclosure. But I will be excluding certain things. Well, when I get to the topic, I'll talk about it. Owen, sound video good. Awesome. Thank you. You do that every week now. I really do appreciate it. Try to get here a little bit earlier, though. I'm just kidding. Okay, so first I have something important that I need to say to you guys. We're gathered here today to say goodbye to my beloved Suzuki, a vehicle that many people are saying was the single greatest machine to ever take on the Condillo Mountains. And frankly, nobody knows more about driving those mountains than I do. I mean, nobody. This car was loyal, steady, climbed roads that made other cars tremble. Some people say it was a perfect car for Condillo. Absolutely perfect, that I can tell you. Now, the failing New York Times would probably report that I chose to sell it. But of course, that's fake news. The truth is, I was practically pushed into it. A real witch hunt, the greatest witch hunt you've ever seen against a perfectly innocent Suzuki. Forces aligned, pressures mounted, the kind of thing that makes you say, "Sir, believe me, sir, they have nothing better to do." But even under that pressure, the car stayed classy, never complained, never leaked, never tweeted anything embarrassing, just did its job beautifully. A lot of people are saying it was the last truly dependable thing in the world. Now, let me add this. Nobody does it better than me. Applies to selling cars too. But part with this one. It took grit, real grit, because I loved it. Genuinely loved it. The way it climbed, the way it held the road, the way it never told me I was driving too fast. Affection like that is rare. So, farewell, my Suzuki. You were a champion. You were loyal. You were the right car in the right mountains at the right time. You carried your weight and mine like nobody's ever seen before. And you will be missed very much. Yes, I sold my Suzuki. Not rest in peace. It's moving along. It's doing well. It's I'm not dead yet. Turtle, good morning. How you doing? Okay. Some of that sounded familiar. Can't quite place it. All right, so let's get on with the headlines, and then we'll do the actual topic. First one. Wonders of the world illuminate Armenia. Condillo talent brings Christmas 2025 to life. I might go do another Christmas video this year. I've done a couple in the past. Used to be, each year it was kind of the same. You go to Parque de la Vida, you pay the 10,000 peso, couple dollars admission, and you go in and you walk around, take a couple hours, and you walk around through there, and you'd see these light shows at night of characters and letters and, Christmassy stuff. And you kind of walk through, had everything but the snow. It was beautiful. It was cool. And when you're all done, they had this pavilion where they had vendors from all around town. That's where I found the greatest tacos in all of Colombia, who's out of business now. But they would have that. It was a nice time. Go spend a couple hours. But then I saw that they started customizing it a little bit more. Instead of dusting off the same things, they would create some new ones. They've gone full blown now. They've got a team of women. I don't know where they've gathered them up, but they create these light pageantry. I don't know, the panoramas, what you call it. And they've put together an entirely new show this year. Last year was pretty amazing. And the amount of lights, it's just crazy. But they've got a lot of sponsorship. They put millions and millions of pesos into doing these things, and all these women get together. It sounded like a eulogy. Yeah. Well, for me, it was. I mixed emotions. I'm glad I sold it quick. It sat in my parking garage most of the time because of issues. But I love that car. I finally, after what was the fifth one, I finally found the perfect car for Colombia. I don't care if I sat here on $1 million. I would choose that car. It's absolute perfect car for Colombia. Unbelievable gas mileage in the mountains between 30 and 40 miles to the gallon. And perfect size. Now, I wouldn't drive into town unless I had to drive through it for some reason. It's like, why go into the middle of the craziness if you don't have to? Let the taxis do that. But if I had to go into town, the traffic fit, you could see all the way around. You sat up high enough to where tiny little SUV, but you sat high enough till you could see everything that was going on. It was the perfect car. Comfortable, had tons of options, had a backup camera, of course. I mean, everything that you could possibly want was in that little car. No wonder it's one of the most popular vehicles, at least in the Andes. You'll see them everywhere. It's an amazing car. Anyway, back on the headline. Yeah, I'm a little obsessed with the car, and I really am sad. I'm going to miss that car. But anyway, number 3, back on the headline. So anyway, they're putting together this light show, and it's an all-new light show, and it's supposed to be like the wonders of the world. Like you're going to have, I don't know specifically until it comes out, but it'll be like, think Christmas lights like Epcot. You kind of walk around and, oh, look, I'm in Italy. And, oh, look, I'm in France. And like that. I mean, there won't be a restaurant tied to it, to each one. That would be cool. Maybe next year. But anyway, start off with that headline because it's a very cool thing. I'm sure it'll be December 1st. It'll start, go through Christmas. I think it runs like all of December, though. If you're here, if you're living here, if you're coming here and you're in December, you absolutely don't want to miss it. It's awesome. The videos that I've done on it were always popular videos, and it's just me walking through. See if I can do another one this year. All right, what's next? Fake permits for the Pico y Placa traffic restriction are circulating in Armenia. Drivers are being scammed out of 100,000 pesos, 25 bucks. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, most of the cities in Colombia have this Pico y Placa, and what it is, you can't, they choose a day out of the week where you can't drive in the town. It stays home, take a taxi, take a bus, whatever. It's a pain in the butt. I don't think it helps a bit, but that's what they're doing. And they've been doing it for a number of years, as long as I can remember. And there are some exclusions for it, but they're very difficult to get. Well, somebody's been going around selling permits to say that you can drive on the day that you're not supposed to drive. Like I was on Friday. I couldn't drive on Fridays because the last number of my plate was 3, and numbers 3 and 4 couldn't drive on Friday. Now, Saturday and Sunday, everybody can drive. So they're selling these permits, and they're charging between 80 and 100,000 pesos, so that if you get pulled over, and they won't pull over anybody for anything except maybe that. I've been pulled over several times for it. Once in a rental car where I had no idea, and they gave it to me on the day that it wasn't supposed to be driven. Rental car company apologized and they paid for it. The fine's pretty hefty. $100, $150, something like that. That's pretty serious. That's like if you were in the US paying $500 for something. So I've run into it in the past. So they do pull over. If they see it, they will stop you. Easy money. And so you show that permit. And in the story, they're talking about how some of the police would just bust out laughing because they're just so fake. and they won't even feel sorry for you that you got scammed. You'll still get a ticket for it. They made a point to mention that. That's kind of cold blooded for Armenia, but so if anybody offers you one, don't do it. It don't work. All right. Anybody know where that's from? Don't believe it. It don't work. All right. A village of colors illuminated for the world. Finlandia opens Christmas with a magical show. This show, I've never been to it. I think it's only been there maybe last year and this year. But it's actually something you go see. It's not like once it's there, it's done. And it's this next Friday, 28th, I believe. Somebody might confirm that. I think Friday the 28th. So probably worth going. Of course, I don't have a car now. I wouldn't drive at night anyway. But sounds like it's worth going to. It sounds interesting, which is why I showed the headline. All right, so now we're going to get to the 10, do the air quotes. I know we all hate those. 10 best cities in Colombia. I have to do an ad read, but first I'm going to explain this. It wasn't like I came up with 10 just so I could have the heading of 10 best, although that's what you're supposed to do. It turned out it was 10. I just sat down and said, what cities are people most interested in? Or what places have I been that I found particularly interesting for one reason or another? And so we'll talk about it. I'll mention my opinions on them. But I didn't cover places like Ipiales. Well, that's a border town. It's, bigger than a town. Maybe not quite a city, but it's pretty spread out. It's an interesting place, but you want to stay away from border towns. There's all kinds of crappy stuff that goes on. It's not a place I would recommend. And then you got a big place like Pasto. It's down in the south. But the thing about Pasto, it's pretty much the same as Ecuador. And I'm not living in Ecuador for reasons. Pasto, it was uncanny how similar it was. And Ecuador and Colombia are very different. But it was very similar. The people were the same. They even eat the guinea pigs there. So I'm not covering that. I'm not going to talk about Popayan. While it's an interesting thing and maybe a touristy thing, all the white buildings. Okay, then what? I don't know. I'm not a fan of the place. I've been a few times, but I'm not going to cover that one because why? Plus, it's right there, right at the edge of all the crime and guerrillas and drug dealers and stuff at Cauca. So I mean, it's right there. So, no, I'm not going to talk about that. Cucuta, very famous place. It's on the other border of Venezuela. Another Wild West place where all kinds of stuff, they do everything but gunfights in the street. Oh, wait, I think they do that too. Just not a good place. So, not talking about those places. So it's primarily more mainstreamy type of places. Here, let me go find my notes here. I know I have them. Bear with me. I try to put them in an area where I'm not looking away from you all the time, but all right, it kind of dropped down on me. Start with the first one. So this is you can see by the watermark, it's kind of a borrowed photo. This is Cartagena. I personally have kind of I won't say a love, but I'll say a like love-hate relationship. Probably want to say one more thing. That's what happens because it fell down. I wanted to mention, like everything here in Colombia, it kind of depends. It kind of depends on the weather, the crime, the cost, the vibe, the people. Every city has its own personality. We're not franchise cities like in the United States where, it's all become the same. So, some cities are going to flirt with you. Some cities pick your pocket. Some cities try to melt you into the pavement. So, I'll try to be realistic about that. So the first one is going to be Cartagena. But I hate to jump all over the place and delay when I said we're going to get to it. I do have to do this. It'd be less than a minute. So bear with me here. We're going to do this one. I only have this one, and then next week, one more. All right. You've probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform. No pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scene drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. Okay, thank you very much for putting up with me as I do that. They're very important that I do them. All right. And that we're finally going to get going. If you've been to one of these cities, right now we're going to be on Cartagena. If you've been to Cartagena and you liked it, you might put down Cartagena liked or thumbs or some kind of indication. I'm curious to know. No more ads from you if I sign up. I have to do them, but you won't get other ads. All right, so Cartagena. Cartagena is stunning. It's the kind of place that you want to take pictures. You want to post them online. You're instantly going to get 200 likes. But living there, I think it's a bit of a different story. If you've been as a tourist for a few days, you don't know. First, the walled city feels like you're stepping into the Spanish fortress painting. That's very cool. There's gorgeous colonial balconies, like all over the Caribbean, the bright colors, some great restaurants, particularly seafood restaurants. And nightlife, oh my God, nightlife, goes till sunrise. If you're into that. Some of the negative things, humidity. It sticks to you like cling wrap. For me, it's horrendous. Prices. It's like you're stepping off a cruise ship price. It's like when the cruise ship arrives, everybody doubles the prices. The prices are crazy. The constant tourists, the constant vendors, the constant, no thank you, no gracias. It gets so old and you can't escape it. The castle, it's worth the climb. Best area to stay is Getsemani. Getsemani, I think it is. You're close to the magic of Cartagena, but you're far enough away from you got to be rich kind of pricing. What I will say is, if you go to Cartagena, if you stay within the first two streets near the beach for walking around like that, it's relatively okay. You go behind that, you're taking your life in your own hands. It can be a dangerous city. It is a dangerous city, all the way from mostly personal robbery. But you never know. So stay a beach or a street away or two streets away from the beach and don't go further in. You won't get away from people coming up and pestering you to buy. It kind of ruins it for me. Hey, great topics today. Can't wait to see what new segment you cook up. Thank you. Oh, this is Charlie. Okay. Number 2, disclaimer, never been. Wanted to go, never been. Santa Marta. I wanted to go because I married into some relatives, divorced now, but married into some relatives that are from there. Now, Santa Marta is Cartagena's more honest cousin. It's not as flashy, but it's got a soul. To do this, I talked to my ex-relatives that still live there, and I talked to a gringo that I knew that lived there. I've known a few that lived there and then left, but the one in particular, I messaged him on WhatsApp and then talked to him on the app and asked him questions about it. So that's where I got my information for Santa Marta. So it's the gateway to the Tayrona National Park, and it's got some of the best beaches in all of South America. There's Minca, the waterfalls, coffee farms, mountain weather, all right above the city. So while the city is down at sea level and hot and muggy, you've got this mountain that kind of overlooks it where the temperatures get a little bit more comfortable. It's cheaper than Cartagena. Now, some of the downside, the city center itself is not all that great. And of course, the heat. I mean, it doesn't end. The key highlight, the Tayrona Park is a must, but bring water, bring lots of water, carry water with you because it's not always at hand and you're going to need it. Best area to stay, I am told, is Rodadero. It's the cleanest and safest option. All right, number 3, the one that everybody knows and loves. And I love to go for a day or two. Would never live there. Medellin. Oh, wait a minute. There's Santa Marta. Shame on me. You see the mountains. And now we're on Medellin. It's hard to choose a picture because these are big, sprawling cities that we're talking about. And it doesn't fit in a photograph unless, we had a satellite photo or something. Seems like I'm losing my voice. So Medellin is Colombia's golden child. And it knows it. Some say perfect weather. There's a huge expat present. It's hard to get exact figures, but there's approximately 10,000 North Americans that live there on a full-time basis. On any given day from Europe and North America generally, you've got about 30,000 people that come in and out of that airport. So, I mean, it's by far the largest presence of foreigners to a city of any that I think I've ever been to. I mean, even places like Tokyo were never even close to that. So there's that. It's also kind of nonstop development, which is not a bad thing. So some of the positives are, of course, they say spring weather. You have your hot days too, but generally it's very similar climate to here in Armenia, and that alone wins people over. One of the nice things is it rains, but where you may live in a place where rain is a pain, here in Colombia, for whatever reason, it's not like that. You really don't mind the rain. What's nice is the consistency of temperature. That's awesome. Now, Medellin also has an amazing metro system. It's the only one in Colombia. I mean, there's one coming up soon in Bogota, but currently it's the only one in Colombia, and it's pretty damn awesome. And some of the best places to go are places it stops. The restaurants, the cafes, the nightlife, the co-working spaces for digital nomads. I mean, you can't beat it. It has restaurants better than Bogota. It's got cafes, too many to count. And co-working is a very popular thing there, and they've got a lot of places specifically designed for it. Now, some of the downsides, crime is creeping up again. It was up until a couple years ago. If you were in Poblado or Laurales, you wouldn't even see crime. I mean, it just wasn't there. It's back again. Not to the degree it used to be, but it's not good. You have to be careful. Prices have kind of skyrocketed. Prices in Medellin are more than double than they are here in Armenia or Manizales or Pereira. So, I mean, that's not great. And some of the rentals are just insane. I'm from upstate New York, and I can find many cheap rentals cheaper than I could find cheap rentals in Medellin. It's just gotten bad. Scams targeting foreigners have become so common, so rampant. It's ridiculous. You really have to be on your guard these days in Medellin. The two deal breakers for me is traffic and pollution. The traffic is it's just unreal. It's just absurd. Motorcycles will jump up on the sidewalk that you're walking on. It's just ridiculous. And the pollution, you don't feel it every day. But I don't think I've been there where for a week, there wasn't 2 days out of the week where my eyes didn't burn. I'm told that I'm a little overly sensitive to pollution. That may be, but it's still, if I'm noticing it, it's there, and it's kind of known for that. So, I like the rest of Colombia where there is no pollution, and it's because it's in a basin, and everything kind of accumulates until it gets the right weather pattern and kind of blows it off again, and then everything's cool. People that were living there that went through the COVID lockdowns, many people who had become immune to realizing how much pollution was there, when those lockdowns were occurring, it all went away. And by the very contrast, all of a sudden it dawned on them, yeah, there really was pollution. There was one person that I said a number of years ago about the pollution, and he was writing to me telling me, oh, you're crazy, there's no pollution. I live here, I would know. And I said, okay. He wrote to me, I hadn't heard from him for a while, but he wrote to me after the lockdowns, when all the air got clear. And he says, I hate to admit it, but now I know what you're talking about. Highlight, if you like doing what every other single tourist in the world does, is Comuna 13. You got your graffiti tour, the escalators. They are interesting. There's a reason it's popular for tourism. But Comuna 13, it's. I'm not against touristy things, but that's so touristy. It's so touristy. I don't know. Um, El Poblado nightlife. I mean, if you're into nightlife, discos, and El Poblado, I don't think it can be beat. You got RV park. You got a cable car ride from the city straight up into the mountains. Best place to stay, probably Lorales, uh, near the stadium. It's a little more local, relaxed, great food. It's a heck of a lot easier walking than El Poblado. Uh, if you're into walking, El Poblado's okay, but I would say, bring your hiking boots. It's a rough area to walk in. For me, it's unnecessarily tiring. I'm not there for that. If I want that, I'll go do the stair steppers at the gym. I like walking without thinking about walking as I, see what's going on and kind of check things out, people watch. And Lorales is very good for that. So for me, Poblado, it's like a great place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. Plus, I couldn't afford to live there. It's the most expensive area. Okay, next one. Bogota. Yeah, it is this is just a small cut where Medellin's about 3 million people. What do we got here? I think it's around 12 million. It's humongous. Some awesome barrios though. Um, but Bogota is the brain of Colombia. I mean, if you want culture, business, energy, it's unmatched. If you want sunshine, well, maybe not the best. I mean, you get some sunshine. It gets cold at night. I mean, bone chilling cold. Keep that in mind. So if you go there, take a jacket with you. I have a jacket that I haven't worn in probably 7 years, say 9 years in Ecuador, once or twice. If I went to Bogota, I would take it. Although I probably shouldn't say it. I've been to Bogota a few times since I've been in Colombia and I didn't take it, but I was in at night. Some of the positives: world-class museums. Our gold museum that used to be in Armenia, all that stuff was taken to the gold museum in Bogota. We still have a few things here, but most of it was taken to Bogota while they remodeled this one, and it never really came back. Then you got the Botero Museum, with the fat people that you see in the parks in Medellin. You see them all over the place. And where I stayed in Bucaramanga, I was right next to a park. There were 2 or 3 of the statues there. He also did paintings. And so there's a museum, very popular. Absolutely the best international and domestic flight connections. Medellin has come up. Hell, here we've improved, but it's still, you can't beat Bogota. And if you can't get a flight direct to someplace like Medellin or here, you're going to go through Bogota. Everything goes through Bogota. They do have a massive food scene. Everything from street empanadas to Michelin level dining. Now, I mentioned Medellin, I think he has the best restaurants. I think if you're looking at very high level, fine dining, international style, Gordon Ramsay style restaurants, Bogota is the place for that. More casual dining for awesome food is more Medellin style. Not to say that they don't have a few places, but Bogota, they really cater to a very high end clientele in some areas of Bogota. Some of the downsides, again, traffic. it's it kind of sucks. Altitude with some people, the altitude there, it's up high enough to where it will affect most people to a certain extent. And with some people, it's unlivable, unbearable. So there's that. Also, it's like the weather is like London with commitment issues. I mean, it's cold, cloudy, unpredictable. It's all over the place. Key highlight, Montserrat. You climb up there, and the entire city is spread out below you. It's breathtaking. It's amazing. Best area to stay: Chapanero, Alto. Safe, urban, smart, balanced. I would stay, well, basically, if you go anywhere near the U.S. Embassy, that entire area, excellent place to stay. Awesome little restaurants and little bars and clubs, and it's just a very good, comfortable place to stay. And I never had problem finding reasonably placed rooms to stay over in. Okay. I don't know what number this is. 5 maybe? Bucaramanga. Can you say it? Bucaramanga. Pretty awesome. I walked from end to end that entire city when I went there. I did a series of 6 or 7 videos of the place. I went and stayed the first time for 7, 8 days. And the second time, I think a little less, might have been 5 or 6 days. And on the first one, I just walked all the way from the bus terminal, all the way over to the mountains, down to Cachique, the entire thing. When I was done, Google keeps on your phone places you've been. It'll show up on the map. Maybe you don't know, but it has that. You can access it. And it was pretty interesting to see. Here's the map of Bucaramanga, and it's like I covered everything but the northwest corner. But I had footprints pretty much everywhere else. And it was kind of exhausting. Bucaramanga might be a surprise on this list, but it's my 3rd favorite city in Colombia. I think it's awesome. It's the richest, the wealthiest city in Colombia. Headquarters for petroleum companies, international companies. Bucaramanga is known for that. It's calm, it's clean, it's organized, it's very pleasant. It's like Colombia's version of in the U.S., you have these mid-sized cities that are very clean and organized, and not a lot of craziness goes on. It's Colombia's version of that. I didn't get a hint of crime. I talked to taxi drivers, and they told me some areas that stay out of, like every city. But for the most part, I never had any worries or concerns about it. And it seemed like most people didn't. You can tell by, look at the girls that are walking around in their bare midriff outfits. And if they got their cell phone hanging out of their pants without really caring about it, and they live there, they're not doing that in an area or a city that's unsafe. Some of the positives, it has some of the best climate in the country. Turtle, you're on here. You lived there for a while. You can feel free to put in chat if you think I'm crazy or not. I thought the climate was pretty awesome. It's the hospitals and services there because it's a wealthy city. I mean, it's hard to beat. I know Turtle had some firsthand experiences when he tore up his ankle, his leg, and was hurt pretty bad. And he spent some time there. Considering the position of Bucaramanga and comparing it somewhat to Medellin or Bogota, it's way cheaper than those places. If you have a reasonable pension, I would say 1,800, 2,000 minimum. You can have a nice 3-bedroom place there in a nice area, and you can't really do that in Medellin. You miss a lot of the chaos, particularly in a couple of the barrios. Turtle, what do you say? Bucaramanga is Medellin without all the gringos. Hospitals are great. What a great that's a great way to say it, because it does remind you of Medellin. Because when you go to Medellin, you're basically mostly around Lorales for most people. And Bucaramanga is very similar to that. It has one of the best malls in all of South America, the Cachique Mall. It's pretty awesome. It's got a Holiday Inn built into it. It's a very cool mall. Some of the downsides. Turtle, you want to chime in on that? It's not a tourist city, and that can be a downside if you're in need of a gringo culture to step in and out of or be part of. You're probably the only one that many people that live there have ever met. Personally, I don't think that's a con, but for a lot of people, they want an English social culture available at least sometimes. The nightlife, they have nightlife, but nothing like Bogota, Medellin, nothing that runs till morning. It's more of a Friday, Saturday night, and it's a handful of clubs. So if you were to talk to a taxi driver and ask about the nightlife, every taxi driver is going to give you the same 3 or 4 places to go. B-Nick, my understanding from you is that it can be hot in Bucaramanga. That's true. I felt it was too hot for me. Turtle, chime in. It was getting expensive. The reason I left, he's saying. Yeah, but you've also found now, like in Pereira, same thing. The cost of living is just going up, but it's also around the world. It's an issue. So I don't hold that against Bucaramanga. It did go up from the time you checked it out till you left. It certainly had. That's where its increase was taking place. But Turtle, what do you think of the temperature? I always told Turtle, I think it's too hot. I like here, I'll go out in the morning, avoid the rain, do everything I need to do, and then come 12, 1 o'clock, I make a point to be somewhere or back home. So I don't get that direct sun. It doesn't get hot and unbearable and like that. And then you get around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can go back out and do things, go to dinner, whatever. I have always avoided that part of town that part of time, because you can only do so much in a day and, live in here. And so I just did everything in the morning. It worked out perfect. In Bucaramanga, that couple-hour window for me expanded to maybe 5 hours out of the day. And for somebody who was comfortable with like Manizales or Armenia weather, where we had only a couple hours like that, uh, I didn't like it. I particularly so I was out doing all that walking, and so I would be out walking at that part of the day, and it just, I don't know, it was just hot. I've walked here in Manizales through those hours, but it would come and go, and there it just seemed it seemed kind of, a lot of those days seemed kind of relentless. So that was always a thing for me. Turtle, the afternoons can be hot, mornings are perfect. Well, that's true. It's just, I think it was the spread. There's just more hours of where the hotter temperature. Like every Sunday I come on here and it's like, what's the temperature? What is it now at 11 a.m.? 73 degrees, 75, 78, 72. I mean, it's always like that. We're almost at midday. In Bucaramanga, 9 o'clock might be at those temperatures, but it's rapidly increasing. So, I mean, that's why personally I think it's just hot. The airport is surprisingly small with very few connections except within Colombia. So it's surprising to me because of all the international business, but it's just how it is. Key highlights. What is it? Chica? I should have written it down. Chicamocha Canyon. The canyon that they have there is probably underrated, not known very much, and pretty spectacular. Definitely something you should check out. I intended to go back and do video of it and didn't. I kicked myself. I didn't realize, didn't have my stuff with me. And best area to stay, on the east side, alongside the mountains, all the way up and down. I would say is the best. It's clean, it's modern, it's walkable, and it has the best temperature of the city. Turtle, because so many parks and tree-lined streets, the heat can be sidestepped. Well, it's true. In the area that you are living, yeah, that's the area. Cabrera. It's definitely true there. But if you're walking the rest of the city, the other 80% of the city, it's not so much. It is known for having the most parks of any city in South America. I did one video on that, specifically on that. I don't remember now, but I think it's like 140 parks in the city. Something around that number. I don't remember exactly. It was ridiculous. All right. Now we'll come to Armenia. So this is number 6. Armenia. I should move it along here. So there's a shot from Mokawa. I lived right next to that building for 2 years. Armenia certainly isn't for everybody. And there's a lot of people living here that probably would have been better served living in Manizales. Because I do videos from Armenia, I love Armenia, and I can't help but be positive about it. I think it's attracted a fair amount of people here. These videos have had an impact. There's my first couple years here, talking to the police chief about the number of gringos that lived in Condillo. He knew the numbers, and it was close, just over 200 gringos. Most of them lived around Salento, up in the mountains and around Salento, which was very surprising to me. I'd been to Salento a bunch of times, never really thought about it. Ever since then, you begin to notice certain things. They would buy these little mountainside farms or rent them. And that's where most of them were. And within Armenia itself, you could count on your two hands the number of us that lived here. Now you've probably got, I haven't talked to them in quite a while, probably should. You've probably got more like 1,000 in Candio, and most of them are living in Armenia. Although, fortunately, it's still a small city where you don't really notice it. You don't really see it. In the building I'm in, I'm the only one in this building. The building next to me, I think there's one or two. Never seen them. I just, the guard here told me that. So I don't know. But Armenia is kind of the calm center of the coffee triangle. It's not flashy. It's not noisy. It's just good living. I'm a country boy. I don't like cities, but this is a happy medium. There is a nightlife here, and in particular, there's an underground nightlife that you need to know about. You need invitation to. You need passwords. They very often will move around from place to place. Everything from sex clubs to dance clubs. Armenia is kind of known for that. Well, not known in a public sense, but after you live here for a while, you find out, and that doesn't take place in most cities. Like in Medellin, you don't need to do that. But here, for whatever reason, I think COVID actually drove a rebirth of that. It's something that went back a long time ago, but I think COVID. You want to close things down? Well, we're gonna keep going, and so they just kind of like speakeasies. So there is a nightlife, but it's nightclubs here, maybe a dozen. Positives: it's one of the safest cities in Colombia. The police are very sensitive to it. Quindío is the second most attractive tourist location in all of Colombia. And it's number one for Colombians. It's so they're very protective about that. When I say all these tourists, the tourists mostly go to the coffee regions, in areas outside of Armenia. So we'll see them here, and they come here. But the rest of Quindío tends to get more of the tourists. Low cost of living. As much as I complain about how prices have gone up as compared to the rest of Colombia, we're still one of the most affordable places to live. The people here, it has a lot to do with why I'm here, because I'm so antisocial, but you need to socialize every now and then, and Colombians here kind of force that out of you. They don't bother me because I keep to myself weeks at a time, so they don't take offense, but they will occasionally, poke and prod me to meet up for coffee or something. And it's always been like that for me, and I've always appreciated that because it fits my particular weird personality. But the people are just friendly. Not only have I seen it a zillion times, but people that come here will give me stories about these things where the taxi drivers will stop and hold up traffic while you cross the street, and things like that. Where in Medellin, they'll just run you down. It's like, so it spreads to many ways. It's the perfect base to visit coffee farms, Salento, Cocora Valley, Finlandia, the old Colombian pueblos, the coffee culture. I don't think it could be a better base of operations if you came here for a week or two on vacation and wanted to do all these things. I mean, it's the reason I bought that car was people were coming and paying me to take them around and basically be their tour guide. And so I got the car. Of course, in the heart attack, I could still do it, but it's not reliable as to when I'm available because I never know. And so I had to get away from it. But it was kind of put on me because this place is natural for it. Downsides, for some, the quiet nightlife might be a downside for you. I don't know. It's a smaller city. I mean, there's not 50 sushi restaurants. There's half a dozen, but it's not like we have a little bit of everything where Medellin has a lot of everything. We don't have 20 jazz bars. There's a couple, but there's not 20 of them. There is there is an underground jazz culture here also, where I got invitations to a couple. You might be watching, where they would meet at this place or that place in the evening, and there's a lot of cool things here, but it's all low key. Some of the highlights here, obviously, Cocora Valley. I mean, yeah, it's 40 minutes away or so, maybe less, but Armenia is still the gateway to it. Parque de la Vida, it's our central park right here in Armenia. You can go walk through nature in the middle of Armenia. You can go walk around for 2 hours and not see the city. Best place to stay, absolutely, in North Armenia. 19's okay if you're at the very north end. Some of the barrios on Centenario, for example, Fundadoras, the Parque Fundadoras, that area, Oro Negro these days, they're clean, they're safe, they're modern. What's our next one? Turtle's current residence, Pareda, the world famous bridge, or it was at one time. I'm always dumping on Pareda. It's probably not fair because there are some really good things about the city. I just don't like it. I go to Pareda, and there's too much history for me. It goes back a long ways, and it's hard to get that out of your head. But there are certain areas like where Turtle's staying. It's awesome. I kind of suggested it to him, and he ended up. I don't know if it's because of me, but he ended up staying there and is enjoying it. There are some very nice areas of Pareda. It's compared to Armenia, it's kind of like the louder, busier older brother. It's got considerably more nightlife. It's got more malls. It's more everything. Within Colombia, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's true. Within Colombia, the women of Pareda have a reputation of being the loose women of Colombia. Is that true? Maybe. Maybe. I've had some pretty strange things occur. So, yeah, maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know. My ex-wife was from there, and she was very conservative, but I asked her about it one time, and she kind of confirmed that, yeah, it's known for that. Some of the positives, it's got the best airport in the coffee region by far. Armenia is coming up. Armenia, it's got some pretty damn good routes and some direct routes, but Pareda has it all. And people in Armenia will mostly use the Armenia airport, but they will occasionally need to use Pareda. And Manizales, absolutely, their airport's a joke. And so everybody in Manizales will go and use it also. Agree, Penares is nice. Penares is very cool. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite area of Pareda. Hotels, restaurants, it's faster paced. It's central to everything. Salento, Santa Rosa Hot Springs. You're less than an hour away from there. The zoo, the what is it? Ukumari, I think is the name of it. Zoo, and I went to that zoo 20 some years ago. I should go again because I was looking on the map and it for information, and it's like I never went to that zoo. It's changed so much. And Pereira has Luz, yeah, Luz the visa maker. Some of the downsides: it's got a fair amount of pockets of crime. Um, Vagrants, it's ridiculous. I've mentioned this before, but it's kind of heartbreaking for me. You go to Bolivar Park, and there'll be 100 vagrants there, and it smells like piss. Because it's just the outdoor toilet for vagrants. It's gross, and you're constantly harassed in that area and some other areas. It's a real turnoff. Uh, Traffic just keeps growing. It's getting difficult. As a matter of fact, when I go to Pareda, I made a point to not go after 11 a.m. And that actually started moving back and back and back. And it got to, if I'm not out of here by 9 and through Pareda before 10 o'clock, I'll wait for another day. So, I mean, it just keeps expanding. Midday, trying to get through Pareda, especially if maybe you need to go through to go to Manizales, forget it. You'll take what would be a half an hour drive and turn it into 3 or 4 hours. It kind of sucks. It's more of a city. I don't know what to say. It's much more of a city for somebody who doesn't like cities. It's kind of in your face city. So it's really not much of a peaceful retreat, although it has its areas, Penares being one of them. But it's a very active, bustling city. Very reminiscent in that way of New York City. Some of the key highlights: the hot springs. It's the best thermal waters in all of Colombia. The biopark, I'm told, is impressive and well maintained. I haven't been. Best area to stay. Well, we've already said. Also, the circumvalar. Somebody help me. Anyway, so that's Pareda. Manizales. Let's see. I hadn't been to Santa Marta. Did I miss any? No, I've been to all the rest of these we're talking about. And Manizales. Actually, all the rest. There's only one out of the 10 I hadn't been to. Manizales. I found traffic of Pareda worse than the traffic of Bucaramanga. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a fan of the traffic in Bucaramanga, but at least it's only during rush hour. In Pareda, it's really taken over the day. Manizales. As a city goes, I love Manizales, my favorite city. One of my favorite cities in the world, and you watch for a while, you know I've traveled a lot. I love the city of Manizales. I love the people of Armenia. So it's always been a thing for me. I live here. I don't want to give up. There's just certain aspects of Armenia that suit my personality. But I think, personally, I think of all the cities in Colombia, Manizales tops the list. Turtle, you live Bucaramanga. You're living in Pareda. You lived in Manizales more than all the rest. Do you think I'm crazy? What do you think is, of the three that you've lived in, what do you think are the best? Thank you for being on, Turtle. I appreciate it because you know these places. And I ask other people to chime in, but I don't know. Got a lot of lurkers. Monizales. Now, I resent this because by number, Armenia has the same number of universities that Manizales does, but Manizales is known as a university city. And people will tell me that all the time. Well, it's got so many more units. No, we actually have the same number. I think their claim to glory is that they have far more international students to a couple of theirs. The Catholic University, for example, has a big European population. So I think that's really the difference. Turtle. Manizales is a cat's meow. Is Bucaramanga on par with Pereira for the best places? They're different. I would say in Pereira, that particular area is a little more spread out and a little more upscale. Somewhat. In Bucaramanga, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's not really low end, but I would say it's mid to upper. And in Pinares, it tends to be more upper. Turtle, help me out with this. I was not overly impressed with Manizales the time that we visited. Yeah, see, the problem about Manizales, and people tell me that all the time, if you go there for a few days or a week and you don't really know the layout well enough to focus in on what's good about Manizales, you come away with the wrong impression. It's kind of like going to a city and visiting a slum area and thinking, I don't like that city. Well, did you go to here or there? It's probably a bad comparison, but because I'm not talking about. The thing about Manizales is if you live on 23, that's Manizales on a mountain. It's actually on a number of mountain peaks. But if you're on the main one, 23 is the main road that runs down the spine or up on the top of the spine of that mountain. And it's several miles long. And if you live there, everything in the world is along there. It's got like 5 shopping malls, several stadiums, everything you can imagine. And unbelievable restaurants, home centers. I mean, everything you could possibly think of. Parks. It's along 23. And if you live there, you can go out walking and spend hours walking, and it's relatively flat. Everything's accessible. It's walkable. It's kind of paradise in a lot of ways. But people will go and they're not familiar with how to handle, because it is on a mountain and there's a lot of steep elevations that make walking a lot of it almost impossible. Or you're so freaking exhausted after an hour, you don't want to do anything else. So that's a big part of it. You almost have to know the city to know the city. You almost have to go with someone to show you around what's best about the city to discover it, because it's very difficult. I see for people, it's very difficult to discover it on their own. So I don't know if that helps, but Turtle, there's more to offer here in Pinares. Yeah, I would say that. B. Nick, I remember the first morning I was there, I pulled back the curtains and looked out on the city. My first thought was San Francisco. Manizales is San Francisco at 7,000 feet. It's very true. It's very much like that. I think some of the streets are steeper than San Francisco. There's some streets you can't park on unless you turn your wheel to the curb and put a block under the tires, because even sitting on its tires with the wheels locked up, it could still slide. Somebody leans on the car, it just starts sliding. The wheels aren't turning. It's just it can be crazy there. But it's awesome. It's smart, it's safe, it's surprisingly modern. A lot of it reminds you of walking around nice areas of Europe. Very low crime. It has, like cities, particular areas. Don't go there. But for the rest, it's very, very safe as compared to most cities. Turtle, I lived Manizales for 6 years, had a full life within 10 blocks. Yeah, it's amazing. He says that, and some of you are going, well, that's not much of a life. Now, you got to be there. You got to see it. It's like everything's at your fingertips. I want to do this. It's there. I want to do that. It's there. I mean, there's so much that goes on there. And it's very different than your typical Colombian city. I mean, it has its traditional barrios, but it really is more European in flavor. You know, like maybe you're in Switzerland or something. It has a very educated population. I think it's number one in Colombia for percentage of Colombians, their education. The cooler weather, it's not much. Northern Armenia and Manizales are almost identical. Southern Armenia, it's hotter. It's more like Pareda. But it's very comfortable there most of the time. And that's nice. If you're into artsy, craftsy, cultural, pinky up, Manizales is for you. It's a huge, huge art scene. The educational elites that, you know, like their tea times, it's there if you want it. Okay, I'm mocking it a little bit, but it's what I'm trying to tell you is true. The downside is the hills are steep enough to require confession afterwards. I mean, it can be rough. Easily avoided. That's the thing. You don't have to do that. And you can do taxis if for some reason you need to go down. Some of my pet peeve, the fog. The fog will roll in anytime, day or night, and hang out for a few hours. I found that a little annoying. But worse than that, there's no pattern to the rain. So they get their rain, but it hits whenever it wants to hit. Where here, it's almost like a heartbeat. You know, it's like it'll be clear in the morning, it'll rain a little in the afternoon or in the evening, you know, and it's like that almost every day of the year. In Manizales, it rains whenever the hell it feels like it. And some of the worst downpours I've ever been have been in Manizales. It's the nature of being up on a higher mountain and being around mountains. It just, you're in a path where all that moisture gathers and kind of dumps. And so where here, I don't even think about rain. In Manizales, it annoyed me because I'd go out in the morning to do things and get caught in rainstorms. It's like, what the hell? And they were hefty rainstorms. The airport, like I said, it's almost non-existent. It's on a mountain ledge. It's very short. It's a dangerous airport. It's internationally, it's kind of known. If you're a pilot that's flown in and out of there, you get special wings or something. Pilots talk about it. One of the highlights is the volcano. It's not in Manizales, but you can see it from all over the city in Manizales. It's like 20 miles away, and you'll see it smoke, and you can go and drive up there into the change of scenery, the vegetation, all that. And you can go up and visit the volcano. For me, I'm not interested, but a lot of people like that. Best area to stay. For Manizales, it's easy. El Cable. Stay in Cable. And live in that area, like Milan. If I were to live in Manizales again, I'd probably try to live in Milan. But definitely would be around Cable. There's lots of cafes. There's lots of people watching. Everything is there. That's where I would stay. Turtle, great comparison. I lived in San Francisco for 30 years. B. Nick, there are spectacular views on a clear day. Yeah, there are no better views in Colombia for a city than Manizales. Like I say, it's my favorite city as far as a city goes. When I talk about people, it's not like people aren't nice there. It's just I'm just this weird thing. If I didn't have this quirk about me, it would be Manizales all day long. I love that city. All right, number 9. We're almost to the end. This one went long today, but it's a lot of cities. And if you got questions as we go, feel free. Ibagué, been to Ibagué a bunch of times. Ibagué is not trying to impress anybody. And for some, that might be the charm. It's local, it's old school, low to middle class. It's real, it's stable, there's no nonsense. It's they're not trying to impress you. And for me, they don't. Low cost of living is nice. It is cheap to live there, mostly because a lot of people don't want to live there. Now, here I am dumping on Ibagué, but I'm trying to be honest. It's not that it would be a bad place to live, but why choose a place that's lacking in so many ways? In certain areas, it has reasonable safety compared to similar sized cities, although because it's poor to middle class, it has more than its average share of mostly petty crime. The people are nice in Ibagué. They're similar to here, very friendly people. It's good connections to Bogota north and Armenia south. They're right in the middle. Some of the downsides, again, not hardly any tourists in itself isn't the issue. It's the things that brings with it that are positive. Well, they're not there. They don't exist there. There's really not a lot of amenities. If you're used to a middle class life, it's difficult to reconstruct it there, and things tend to be spread out. Like maybe some of the better place to live is across the city from a decent mall kind of thing. And this is a weird thing. It's up in the mountains. I mean, it's on its way to Bogota, and it's way hotter than it is here. It's every time I go, it's like, why do I come back here? It's unbearably hot for me. My take on it. It's hot there. And how in the world that happens, considering where it's located in the mountains, I don't get it, but it is. And if you say it's not, you're full of it. I'm telling you, I've been there plenty of times, and it's always really hot. And I don't just mean 1 o'clock in the afternoon because of the sun. I mean, it's just hot there. It's worse than Pereira. And one of the things I don't like about Pereira is it's a little hot for my taste. I like cool temperatures, but Ibagué, and I have a friend who lived there for several years and left and actually moved here with his wife and kids for some of these reasons I'm talking about. The key highlight for Ibagué is it's known as the music capital of Colombia. I don't know if that's deserved, but they have a university it's all about music. Um, so if you want an education in French horn or whatever instrument you choose, that would be the place to go. So they're definitely known for that. Best area to stay, uh, maybe La Macarena. Some of the outlying barrios to the south, nestled up to the mountains, kind of nice, little cooler. Um, if you were to go east from the bus terminal, I don't remember the name of the barrio there, but it's very middle class, low to middle class, but it's very nice, very clean. Some nice walkable restaurants. I try to stay there every time. The prices are great, but it's like everything else. If you want to go to the mall, you got to go to the other side of the city. I mean, everything it's just not all that convenient. Okay, so I guess I would go on my great place to visit. Even if you wanted to live there, you probably won't stay there forever. And now, the one I love to hate on, Cali, Santiago de Cali. Um, Big city, third biggest in Colombia. And you're going to get a theme of things I don't like. But there are things that are cool about Cali as much as I dump on it. It's pure energy, for better or worse. Hot weather if you like it, but it's got hot people, hot temperatures, hot salsa. It's old school Colombian when it comes to that category. I go there and I meet people, and it reminds me of 20 years ago. So that part I like. The cultural identity, it's the force is strong within you, Luke. I mean, it's the cultural identity is very strong, and it's been fading away in a lot of Colombia, which is sad for me. If you're a young person, you don't know, you don't miss what you haven't seen, but it's been fading away. Salsa dancing, it's the capital of the world for salsa. It's unmatched. If you want to learn it, that's a place to go. It's the most creative salsa in the world, more so than Puerto Rico and Cuba. It is the place to go. That used to be all of Colombia, but salsa is, I don't know, fallen out of favor. Now everybody wants to twerk to rap, but salsa is alive and well there, and every female you talk to is probably a better salsa dancer than most dance experts in the rest of the world. It has a fantastic food scene if you're not looking for international type food, although that exists. But local cuisine that I'm often not that much of a fan of, I find it would be delicious in Cali. They know how to cook. So things I appreciate. I also appreciate how expressive the people are. When I said, hot people, they're very passionate, very expressive. You see it, you can feel it. And I love that. Some of the downsides. Crime is real. And while there's variations, it's almost block by block. It's not just stay out of there and you'll be okay. It's rampant. And it's always, as long as I can remember, has been rampant. And it's a damn shame because some areas of Cali are stunning. But crime, you've got to be on guard. I'm always referring back to 20 some years ago when I lived in Pareda. Everybody then walked around on guard. Women would walk with their purse in front of them, hugging it. They would have their eyes down and not make eye contact. It was, I mean, that's how it was. It's almost like that in Cali even today. Traffic, the sprawl, the city, not a big fan. Although traffic not as bad as some of the ones we've talked about earlier. Cali can be overwhelming for new people. I highly suggest if you go spend time in Cali, you find somebody local to be your guide. Pre-plan it. There are people you can find. You can find them on Facebook. It's kind of a crapshoot, but try to get recommendations. It's worth spending some money with somebody for at least the first few days to be able to appreciate some of the good things about Cali. Key highlight: the San Antonio neighborhood is a great place. The hilltop views, the cafes, the architecture is pretty awesome. Best place to stay, maybe Ciudad Jardín, possibly. Modern, safe, a lot of greenery. So, final ranking. I don't know if I can do that. But if someone said, I have 1 week to evaluate Colombia, I'd give them one word: Coffee Triangle. Armenia, Pareda, Manizales, two of the three are my favorite places on this planet. Hell, I live here, right? That's why. I could have been in Philippines. I could have been, you name it. I couldn't afford Japan. Well, actually, I could. Japan's not all that expensive if you get away from the big cities. But the point is, I live here out of choice because I love it, because of all the places on the planet that I'm familiar with and could have gone to, this is it. So for me, you can't beat the Coffee Triangle. On balance, it's way safer than everywhere else. It's much more protected because it's the heart of Colombia. It's certainly more affordable than Bogota, Medellin, all these places I've been talking about. The beauty is unmatched. It's absolutely the most beautiful part of the world, maybe. It's just crazy beautiful. And it's actually livable. So Armenia, if you want calm and comfort. Pareda, if you want a little more nightlife and more convenience. You got a Price Smart there, for example. Manizales, if you want culture, the mountains, international restaurants that are just beautiful in and of themselves. So if I were forced to pick one, well, I wasn't forced. I opted for Armenia. So for me, it's Armenia. If I were to recommend to you, it would be Manizales or Armenia. I'd probably, well, I have. I tell people, check out Manizales. People will go and they don't get why I appreciate Manizales so much. They don't see it. They need to get a second chance and go see it through the way I see it, the way Turtle saw it, because we live there. And when you know how to appreciate it, it all changes. Turtle, back me up. Am I full of it or what? I mean, Turtle would say I'm full of crap. But you have to know how to appreciate Manizales. But when you do, it jumps to the top of the list. Wow, we went long today. Sorry about that. So that's the tour. That's it. If you've lived in any of these cities, tell me what I missed. If you visited and ran away screaming, tell me. We got a couple minutes here. Let me know. Everyone's experience is different. But that makes Colombia interesting because it still has its unique area and local cultures. They still exist. And in the next lifetime, the next generation, you're going to be seeing that disappearing. It's disappearing around the world. Everything's becoming more homogenous. Um, and it's some of the beautiful things about Colombia that I appreciate the most. So that's my topic for today. How would I do? Did I dump on your favorite place? I'm just trying to be straight from my point of view. Things that I love, things I don't love. Um, I appreciate something about every one of these places, which is why they made the list. Did I leave off something that'd be really important? Like I didn't put Buenaventura on there. Why? What the hell? Why would anybody want to live in Buenaventura? Why would I even want to talk about the place? It's I, I don't want to be robbed every other day. I mean, it's one of the crime capitals. It's a drug smuggling port. I mean, it's not for me. Probably not for most people. Tommy, let me get to my chat screen here. Cali was nice when I visited. I don't know about living there, but all in all, good sights and music. Yeah, I dump on Cali because the crime, the filth, they throw garbage in the streets, things that really annoy me. But there's places in Cali that really are awesome. I just because there's things I don't like and I wouldn't want to live there doesn't mean I can't appreciate certain things about it. And of all these cities, there's something about it that's special and unique that you kind of wish you could put them all together in the perfect city. And for me, Manizales comes close to that idea. And then there was Socorro. Yeah. Well, that's another thing. There are pueblos that'll blow you away. And if you're willing to give up certain aspects, like not having a hospital within a couple hours, there are places that for many of us would be paradise on earth. I would love to live out on a farm. Thank God I wasn't when I went through the heart attack thing. I wouldn't have made it. So, but there's a lot of pueblos that are just to have quality of life would be tremendous. I could see living in Pihao, for example, and it's a little tiny village. Years ago, I thought Finlandia. Now it's become way too crowded, way too touristy. It's kind of ridiculous how much has changed. But Kimbaya, maybe could make a life there. Maybe could appreciate that. So there's a lot to it. But the thing is, well, I love living here, no doubt about it. I love love Manizales. I really appreciate and like Medellin. There's even things in Bogota I like. I don't love all of Colombia. And I think you could say that about any place. There were things when I lived in Ecuador that I certainly liked and appreciated, but I actually didn't like Ecuador. I just liked certain aspects of it. There's certain things about Colombia that I certainly appreciate far more than Ecuador. But for me, it's particular things like Armenia, Manizales, the coffee region, that's what makes it special for me. So my Colombia is the coffee region. That's the Colombia to me. Not to say that there aren't things elsewhere, but they don't hold a candle, in my opinion, to the coffee region. And number one, Manizales. Yeah, there I said it. Tommy, Santa Marta and surrounding mountain coasts really nice for a visit. Probably the beach city that is more affordable than most other cities in Colombia with a beach. Amen. Would have to agree. The only one I haven't been to, but that's mostly because I don't care about the beach anymore. You know, those days are over. I mean, to me, I'm out on the beach. That just means I'm going to get a sunburn and be miserable. I don't like sand running up my shorts. And that, yeah, I'm a curmudgeon when it comes to a beach. I don't like being pestered to buy a coconut drink for triple the money. You know, it's like, look, I'm trying to chill here. And it's like, you buy this cheap jewelry from China, you know, and it's at least years ago, it was local homemade, you know, and that's in the beaches all over the world these days. It seems, you know, it's like you just don't get left alone. And so, considering I feel that way, Santa Marta really doesn't hold a lot for me. I'm really far more interested in some of the things in the mountains that overlook Santa Marta, and maybe one day I'll get there. I had planned um, around this time this year or next year to actually go there and for video, do a like a cross country drive there and hit that as an end goal. And then return. That's something I had planned. Of course, it got derailed, but I think that would have been a lot of fun to do that. And it would have taken a couple weeks, but hey, what the hell, right? I'm retired. Um, all right. So I think that's it. I did my ad read, so I don't have to do another one. I've covered all the cities. I said farewell to my car, even though it's going to be probably a week before it's sitting over at the dealer, letting them process all the paperwork and stuff. So the people, they don't have to do anything but show up and take the keys. We've already signed the contracts and stuff. So that's cool. I'm making it as easy as possible for them. Giving it oil change and all the inspection, everything it's got to have, and they'll be good to go. And I'm gonna, that was tongue in cheek, and I was mostly mocking some of the idioms that Trump says all the time, obviously. But I really will miss that car. It really was the perfect car for Colombia. If I ever get another car, if I miraculously get healed or they give me a new heart or something, who knows? And I get another car, no doubt in my mind, it's going to be another Suzuki Vitara. It's perfect. What do we got here? You should go and visit. Yes, I agree. They try to sell too many things and don't let you relax. Well, I'd like to go. It would be an issue because there's a lot of climbing and stuff, and I'm not in a point where I can do that yet. It's not really safe to just do that. So, you know, it'd be nice if it turns out that at some point I can. It's one of the things. Another city I didn't put in here because I know nothing about, and I didn't have anybody to really reach out to get information on, and I didn't really want to take it off the internet. I wanted to be more first or at least secondhand. So all of them I could do firsthand except Santa Marta, but Barranquilla, Shakira's home city. Curious about that place somewhat, but yeah, I didn't cover it because, like I said, I talk about something I know nothing about. So, okay. So I guess last call for any questions or comments, and then we'll say goodbye till next week. If you got any ideas for topics, or if you want me to zero in on anything I talked about today, feel free to let me know. Last call. I'll get a drink and see. There were a lot of viewers today. Not sure exactly why, but probably a third more than usual. Of course, you wouldn't know it. They're afraid of the chat. I don't know why people are afraid of the chat. Okay, I guess that's it. So I'll end it today. Thanks for being there. the usual people spoke up, and I really appreciated that. I appreciate having all the viewers. And I guess for some people, it's time for football. For me, mine ended Thursday. I got to wait till next Sunday. And I don't know. It's a tough year. But, you know, as a Buffalo Bills fan, you become accustomed to saying there's always next year. But at least we got next Sunday. I'll see you then. Ciao.
Okay.